right, welcome back into the show. Time for the Law and You segment, sponsored by Gig and Jancola. Join with us now. We've got attorney Michael Gig. Good morning.
Good morning.
To the show.
Good morning.
All right. Every week, of course, we talk about the types of law that you and your partner Chris practice. Just refresh our memory for those who may never known before.
Yeah, so I primarily do our estate planning. That would be wills, trusts, things like that, powers of attorney, a lot of real estate matters. Chris does most of our personal injury, workers' comp, and Social Security.
Yes. The unique thing is you can write into our show, email us here, ask a question legally about, the types of law that they practice, and they will handle it. They'll try to answer it here on the show. You do it on Tuesdays and Thursdays, twice a week. We got this one, I believe, last week it came to us, and it says, I bought my home 25 years ago. Now, when I bought it, I put my daughter's name on it. I'm getting up in years. Should I turn the house over to her or keep in both names, trying to avoid her having to pay for it? Does that make sense?
Yeah, the last part was a little confusing, meaning having to have her pay for it. I'm not sure if she was maybe referencing some type of an inheritance tax. Kind of to start from the beginning, the first thing I ask when people come in about talking about, either putting a property completely in their child's name, grandchild's name, adding them to the deed, something like that. The first thing I always ask is there a mortgage on the property? So I don't know, when she bought this 25 years ago, was it a 30-year mortgage and maybe there's still some years left on the mortgage? If that's the case, I would assume, there's a lot of assumption here, that she bought it with her daughter and her daughter's on the mortgage. Now, if there is a mortgage on the property, you can't transfer any interest in that without at least going through the bank. Because if you transfer an interest, if she would transfer it out of her name, just completely into her daughter's name, and there is a mortgage on the property, the bank finds out, that'd be a violation of the mortgage, and it wouldn't be good. So I always ask, first of all, if there's a mortgage, because if there is, typically, you don't want to transfer any interest because that could get you into trouble with the bank.
Yeah.
If that's not the case, if she's up in years, she didn't say how old she was, but that's always the problem. Now we're talking about the whole Medicaid nursing home situation, which is I would suggest she talk to someone, whether it's our office or someone, about, that's a long consultation. But if she's up in years but also has had some health problems, you have to worry about if she transfers her 1/2 interest to her daughter so that her daughter owns the property completely, you have to worry about the Medicaid 5-year look-back rules. So that's, if you transfer assets for less than fair market value, go into a nursing home, if that's done within 5 years, you could get penalized. That we don't have enough time to go into all that, but that could be an issue here if she maybe has health problems. The other thing would be if she did transfer it out of her name to her daughter, there's no nursing home situation, she could avoid her daughter having to pay inheritance tax. That's a potential savings for her daughter. Especially if her daughter lives there, that could help. But then you got to worry about if you transfer that property or transfer the interest, if she would die within a year, then her daughter would still owe inheritance tax. It's as if that transfer never occurred for inheritance tax purposes. So we see these questions a lot. Transferring interest in real estate, typically, it's their primary home. And if the daughter's been living there, I assume all this time, you want to try to preserve the house. There's different things you can do to do that, but talk to an attorney, because these are very detailed conversations.
A lot of little caveats, details, and even so, say the house is paid off, and maybe the roles will reverse. The mom will live there, and the daughter will take care of the mom, for the foreseeable future. But now the home is technically owned by the daughter. That would make sense.
Well, some people, we get into issues whether, the parent oftentimes, they'll worry, well, I don't want to be thrown out of the house or something, or they worry that maybe their child could mortgage the property. I've seen that before, because the child gets into money problems. They mortgage the property, the parent no longer has an interest. Now they got to worry about, now there's a mortgage on it, could it be foreclosed on? They could lose the house. There's a lot of things I go over with clients, pitfalls and things, but it's a case-by-case basis, because again, this particular person, they could have a really good relationship with their daughter, they have no worries, and there's certain things you could do. Other times, the parent comes in, the child's not there, and they do have concerns. And so I kind of talk to them about things that could be potential pitfalls that I've seen. So
it's good to know about those things because it's technically not as simple as it sounds. People are thinking that they're doing their family a favor, and
particularly when you're talking about a primary home. I mean, this is where the mother and I assume the daughter have lived. I mean, that's usually around here. That's people's biggest and most important asset.
Yeah.
And so you have to be really careful that by trying to save in one spot, you could be hurting yourself in another that you never anticipated.
Yeah, that seems to be the overarching theme with a lot of this stuff.
There's pros and cons to everything.
Yes, which is, of course, the best thing is just to talk to an attorney and reach out to you guys. You obviously deal with this on a daily basis. And what's the best way to reach your practice? Yeah, call our office at 946-1606 or through our website at gig-law.com. All right, yep. Chris and Mike, they'll hook you up. All right, coming up, the Maverick